This is Tony. Welcome to the Transformation Space. Today, I would talk a little bit about aesthetic alignment. And what does that mean? Well, in short, it means seeing yourself externally in a way that is similar to how you feel about yourself internally, meaning that those two things match up. So, when I look in the mirror, I see an image that represents who I feel that I am. And why is this important? Well, because if we see ourselves differently than we feel that we are, there's a disconnection that can happen, disconnection from the self. And it can be jarring, it can be uncomfortable, it can feel misaligned. And it's not really as much about vanity as it is about feeling like we truly are who we feel we are. And there's a number of ways that this can happen. When we're in a bad place in life, difficult time, don't have time to take care of ourselves, don't want to take care of ourselves, don't care about taking care of ourselves, it can seem like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what I wear. I don't care what my hair looks like. And that may be very true in the moment. But as that goes on for long periods of time, we tend to lose sense of self in that aspect and resist having to deal with it, right? Because now it's a thing that I have to handle. I don't want to get dressed up. I don't want to put myself together. I don't want to have to show up any certain way with time or effort put into myself. And you don't have to. That's the beauty thing about doing whatever you want to do is, right, you don't have to. But when we do, and we do figure out, what is it how do I want to represent myself aesthetically? How do I want to show up to present myself? There's intention behind that. And it shows who we are. And we can choose not to care about that, and that's perfectly fine. But like anything else in life, no choice is a choice. And stories, everything comes with a story, right? So, what is it? What's your story? If it's a story that you don't care, it's oftentimes what we're going to reflect, intentionally or unintentional. And the thing is, we can say, oh, that's not true. But what matters is what we do, because that's what people see. And if you truly don't care, it doesn't matter to you. There's been plenty of times in my life where I have not wanted to put the effort into trying to create an aesthetic about myself that mattered to anybody, because I really didn't care. And I will say that part of that time in my life, there was a lot of things that I didn't really care about, and there was just one other thing I didn't want to have to do. But what I can say is that when I am feeling aligned, and I do try to find out, what is the way that I feel aligned on the outside to the inside. I feel better. I feel more connected. And it doesn't really have to be that much. But there's a couple of things examples I'd love to share with you. And I put this in some of the writing in my blog too, and a couple pictures in there. There's been some, points in my life where it turned to massive change had happened. Some of them were low, some of them were high. Some of them were periods of time where I was trying to attract certain people or certain things, and I needed to become aligned with what I looked like on the outside in order to do that. One of them was when I made the decision to close my businesses. I had a salon, commission salon, for a while, and a rental salon, and a school at the same time. And I was just burned out. I was working all the time. Working was a safe space for me. It was heavily boundaried, and I knew how to be within that space. I knew how to look in that space to show up in certain ways. So I knew that it was safe to be working all the time. And I got to a point where I was following the advice of a group that I know had good intentions, and through a number of financial pitfalls that nobody could have really predicted, although there were some poor decisions made that I, went along with because I thought I knew, and I only know what I know. And of course, there was no malice, but we got to a point where I was either going to have to find an investor or close everything. And so I closed it all because I personally had a line drawn in the sand for myself of what I was willing to let go of financially. And I had come to that point, so I closed it all. And I didn't want to look in the mirror and see that guy that was, running businesses and teaching and had employees and was just busy all the time. I didn't want to see that person anymore. So I cut off all my long hair and I let the color grow out into my natural gray and white. And I got my tattoos that I've been waiting to get for years. I started lifting a lot, bulked up, and my image changed quite a bit. And I was free from that life of being restrained by business. And for me, that meant a lot of free time, which historically has not been great for me, because I liked, that's past tense, liked to party a lot. And now I had time to do it all the time. So I was really, I really got in this physical appearance of, having fun, hooking up, finding people for various fun activities and, using moments. And my appearance lent to that. And it was very aligned on the inside, because that was my direction. That was what I was trying to do. It was destructive, but the inside matched the outside. And I was representing myself in a way intentionally. And although it was not beneficial for me in the long run, it was aligned. And when all that came crashing down, and I started doing the inner work after COVID hit, I sat down and was forced to look at my life and go inside and see, who is this Tony that we've been avoiding for so long, and started doing this self-discovery work. My hair started growing, and I became less public. COVID, I think for a lot of us, the height of it was a chance to kind of, go back into our own little space and really review our lives. And I got sober, and I just wanted to be outside, and my image started to change. And as I moved to Hawaii, that progressed into long blonde hair and flowy clothes and dangly earrings, and clothing that kind of took on a little bit more of a, my salon owner has called it an upscale gypsy look, gypsy chic. And I laughed at that a little bit because in my genealogy way back, there was a group in Eastern Europe that were considered to be a gypsy population. As a matter of fact, I was at the Holocaust Museum years ago, and my mom's maiden name was on the window of Holocaust survivors, and we don't have a Jewish ancestry, but her last name, my grandfather's last name on my mom's side, Jindřich, was from the Czech Republic area originally, centuries ago. And during the Holocaust, there was a group there that was rounded up that were gypsies. It was very interesting reading about this after I dug into it a little bit historically. And so this aesthetic that I've seemed to come to at this point in my life, I feel very much aligned with, I feel very connected to, and I find it interesting that there is this historical component to it that is, roots. So it's another sense of being connected. But there is a a real intentional freedom with living your life, representing yourself in the way that you feel good about. And for me, taking my time getting up in the morning and putting on clothes that represent me, even though I don't really fit into any one particular, I don't really conform to any one particular style. It's always been a thing for me to represent myself on the outside and put the time into making that appearance, even if it's a tank top and shorts and sandals and my hair pulled back. Still, it's intentional. And this strength in this piece for me, just representing myself the way I feel I am, is rooted in my childhood. And I have a story to share about that. When I was 6 years old in kindergarten, I made the request for a yellow velour bow tie. Those of you that are old enough to remember that terrible toilet seat covers that had that crushed velour, crushed velvet on them. Well, there was a bright yellow, and I really wanted a bow tie made out of that. My mom, wonderfully obliged. She was so good about allowing us to have our creative expression and creative freedom. And I was just teased over this bow tie in school, kindergarten. And my mom reminds me that when I came home talking about this, I said, they're just jealous. And so finding that sense of empowerment with being able to express oneself physically and externally in a way that they truly feel aligned with is powerful. Because even if it sets you apart as an individual, which we all are, there is an ability to stay authentic within that. And I understand there's times in life where we need to conform to the environments that we're in to, maneuver more easily in our job or in a public place that could cause us harm. Some of us that do like to express ourselves a little more so than others, there's some pushback sometimes, and I understand that sometimes for safety reasons, unfortunately, conforming the way we look is necessary. But on the whole, I try to find places that I can be myself, because if I can do that on the outside, if I have the ability and the power to do that on the outside, I can definitely do that on the inside. So think about that when you look in the mirror. Do you feel like you are? Do you feel like it's you? Does it look like someone that represents you? And if it doesn't, there's people out there that can help with that. Being part of the beauty industry for 27 years has taught me how important this is for people. And it's an absolute honor to be part of that process of transformation with those creating aesthetic alignment. Have a great day.